Hi everyone. Unfortunately, Prateek couldn't be here. His flight is delayed, and he should be here by end of the evening. My name is Kishore, and I am the Senior Vice President and the Head of Marketing for Masai School. Masai School is the outcome-based, pay-after-placement education institute. It's Bangalore-based, and we have been operational from 2019. We are probably India's, and I don't know any other institutes in Asia as well, who's actually running a 0% upfront fee, and it's a pay after placement only if the candidate actually lands a job which is more than 5 lakhs per annum. So far, we have placed around 4,500 people, and in 2025, we are trying to reach that to 10,000. Maybe during the conversation, we'll get to know more about it.
Hi everyone, my name is Puneet, founder and CEO of Chaabi. We are a WhatsApp-based upskilling platform primarily focused on upskilling blue-collar workers in India. The basic vision for us is that skill is the biggest opportunity that anybody can have. Having a hard skill or a soft skill that can help you improve yourself and get better in your career is something that all of us probably grew up with. And that kind of is the cornerstone of having a good career for ourselves. Like, career is made for 40 years, right? So you need that skill that helps you there, and Chaabi wants to be that platform that provides that skill for blue-collar workers in India.
Hi guys, I'm Ankit Aggarwal, founder and CEO of Unstop. Unstop today is early talent community engagement and hiring platform where we streamline for employers, we streamline talent discovery, talent engagement and talent assessments. And we are enabling about 8 million students across domains and streams onto our platform, connecting them with about 800 plus employers.
Hello everyone, my name is Ketan Deshpande. I'm the founder for Fuel. We run CSR business school across a lot of cities. And primarily we are into skilling, and we run skilling programs with corporates and enable underprivileged kids to get into access of opportunities. And we are reducing that gap and have reached more than 1 lakh youth so far and trying to make that difference in the community. Thank you.
Hello all, thanks for the opportunity. My name is Puneet Raj. I'm the founder and CEO of a tech startup called Seminarroom. I was in academics for a decade. I was heading the department at Jain University. From there, I moved to start my own company in 2021. We started a tech company called Seminarroom, wherein we map experts to curriculum. Wherein from a school of thought, wherein from a first day of a college student getting into higher education, we are there. We have 800 CXOs who joined hands with us in inspiring. We have 120 plus institutions who have partnered with us, and we inspired up to 75,000 students in the last 2 years.
Well, that is amazing. Thank you very much. And I will not lie, I will be very honest. Our moderator, thanks to the Delhi traffic and the rainy season that is all of a sudden here with us, is running a little late. I am not sure if I am qualified enough to ask you questions, but since you all are well aware with the topic, I would like to request you to kindly begin with the content that you have prepared for the same. It's a humble request. I don't want to put up a wrong question that I have no knowledge about.
I'll sort of initiate. I think two different aspects are very, very critical in today's education. I think one is employability and the other is employment. Majority of the fellow panelists work towards employability, which is giving them ample skills which are required by the industry. On the other side, we at Unstop are doing pretty much both. So we are not a pure play tech platform, so we are not here to do or give you degrees or so. We are here, we are sort of a finishing school where I think the idea is that we have reverse engineered. So
because what you're mentioning up until now, all the panels that we've hosted, most of them have stressed upon not just preparing people for the students just for the exams, just for the final moment that once their career starts. So that I think is what is in the mind of most of the people in the audience. So maybe you could address that.
So, I think the journey towards your career starts from day one of your maybe degree or diploma programs, so to say. I think the root problem in our education system is that, and that is true, possibly would have been true for all of us as well. We would have prepared to crack jobs maybe overnight or just before our placement season. And what we intend to do is that how can we start that journey on day one of our UG or PG programs. And I mean, unfortunately, having worked with majority of the dream employers, what employers are looking at is not what we have in our books. Whether it is UG or PG programs, whether it is engineering, MBA, arts or so, right? They are looking at much beyond academics. They are looking at, even if it in academics, they are looking at practical knowledge. They are looking at soft skills, and those skills can be as, trivial as, let's say, can you communicate or articulate yourself well? Can you think on the feet and maybe find different ways to navigate a problem? And I think that is something that is not really taught in our education system, and that's where we need partners like what you see on stage who take up these elements from the practicality point of view and from the completeness point of view, which is very, very critical.
Let me take it from here, what Ankit said. Our employability rate, if you see yesterday's Economic Times, there was a small article written. The employability rate of final year students and pre-final year students has moved from 33.9% to 51.3% the last decade. It's a phenomenal improvement compared to last one decade. Wherein if you want to push it from 50 to 70, that is where you can't depend only on Pradhan Mantri Vikas Kaushal Yojana or only Skill India. We need to actually get into universities, right? We need people or enablers like us to definitely help them, because it's not just skill matters in the next 10 years. It's all about what additional to that. What is the digital transformation knowledge you have got? Is the data knowledge? Is the digital knowledge? What is the creative thinking?
I'm sure that you've been running.
Thank you. You were saying something. I'll take some water.
Just to add to exactly what you were saying, right? And with Masai, what we aim to solve is the skill gap in the tech space, right? We only teach very, very specific things: data science and software development engineering. And this is something, again, it came from our founders. They are also from IITs themselves, right? What the biggest thing was, there are a million engineers coming out from universities, and less than 10-15% are employable. Now, it's not their fault. It's just that the curriculum has not moved forward. And for example, generative AI, right? We are talking about, everybody's talking about it. It's 5-6 years old. I mean, in terms of the mainstream thing, right? Our curriculum changes in a decade, even in the best of the IITs. So when are we going to ever catch up to generative AI? While the employers need it today, but we are skilling them for later. So that's one of the biggest problems that we are trying to solve with Masai, right? We teach them 70% is the basic, and last 30% is going to be what is up. Because if you remember last year around this time, it was all blockchain, NFT and whatnot. And now it's like gone into generative AI and we don't know what next. So we can be very flexible in what we are teaching, and that's what help our students. And that's how our latest batch of generative AI students, when they passed out, 50% of them got the companies just came in we were able to place them in less than 2 days. Because companies are also now looking for that particular skill, right? So that is something that I resonate with you what you are saying, right? And we are trying to solve in a very smaller space, right? We are saying we have chosen tech and we are only going to do that. And of course, what you said about skilling in the other things also, I just want to point on that.
Probably a little bit of a different opinion from what we're talking about. I think, at least with the audience that we also work with, and probably our own stories as well, that we learned most of our skills that got us the jobs or our careers on the job, right? Apprenticeship programs or internships where we learned the hard skills, and like you said, the technology is changing so fast that we probably can't really teach everything in the school, right? But what we can teach students in the school is the soft skill, right? Is the fact of perseverance, the constant upskilling, the need to question everything, need to learn more, right? And that's where I think all of us combined with academia plays a very big important role in its employment and employability of everybody, right? So, like, would love for you to take forward from here.
Now that the discussion has taken a very interesting turn, and I can't resist speaking now. So this panel was extremely surprisingly, as in preponed. I wasn't informed. So just to correct everybody here, I wasn't late. This was scheduled to happen at 3:25. We still have time. So that was a correction.
You see more startups in India because of the chaos. No issues.
Now, coming to your point on startups, 2020 or 2021 was the time when we saw this boom of ed tech, so to say. So the likes of Byju's, Unacademy, Upgrad came in. Now, that was the time when all across this edtech startups have solved for major problems. And then we have seen the great revolution all across. Now we have seen some chaos, some crisis, and edtech is witnessing a dip somewhere. Yeah? This is not the case for everybody all across, but still, we all know that there have been a chaos. Now my question to all of you, that given that you engage with academia, you engage with industry, you engage with younger generation of the nation, how many of you are really interested and are involved in preparing entrepreneurs like yourself? We are not really grooming a set of people, a generation who is actually the employee-only generation. There have been a surge in this particular trend where a lot of senior executives from startups are exiting and they are onto their new ventures. Somebody from Swiggy left and they started with a new venture. Somebody from Puma left and then started Agilita's ventures. So there are different cases where senior executives of startups are leaving their stint and then moving on to their ventures. How many of you are now interested in grooming the next set of generation in becoming the entrepreneurs or let's say employers in India?
We are in a very, very big way. And like the names you mentioned, we are on the complete opposite end of that spectrum. When we are talking about micro entrepreneurship or being an employer themselves, we are talking about delivery drivers. And there is a very reasonable reason for it also. We went to, like I can give one instance, we went to Kishangarh, which is the marble manufacturing hub for India. And we asked them that, okay, how do we help your people move upwards and earn better salaries or make a career for themselves? And they was like, they have to do X, Y, Z, step A, step B, step C. I was like, wait, who's going to pay for it? Are you willing to pay for that upskilling? He's like, no. Why would we pay for an upskilled labor? They can do it themselves, and once they know, we hire them. I go, okay, I talk to the labor. Would you pay for upskilling? They're like, not really. We just lie our way to it and probably get the job and get it done. But when we ask them, okay, how do you imagine earning yourself, let's say 40,000 rupees a month, right? For us, that's a very, not even a consideration, but for them, going from a 15, 20k salary to a 40,000 month sustainable salary is their objective. 90% of them are like, okay, I want to go back to my home and open up this shop, I want to go back and open up that thing, I want to do this, I want to do that. Whether it's a food stall, whether it's a mobile shop, whether it's a repair shop, whatever it is, right? And that for us is like what we want to focus on as a company, right? That giving you those tools, like I said, the hard skills you can probably easily learn. How do you repair a mobile? That's easy to learn. But how do you create that system of balance? How do you create that profit and loss statement for yourself? That okay, if I'm spending 100 rupees, am I earning, let's say 150 rupees or not? Right? Those are the things that I think all of us combined, we have to be responsible for. Financial management, financial planning, business planning. I mean, these are fancy words when we say it, obviously, but that's the crux of it, right? Make a plan where you can earn sustainable livelihood for yourself.
Okay. Would you like to add to this?
See, my viewpoint is a bit different in terms of, yes, we need entrepreneurs, but more than that, I think we need people with entrepreneurial mindset. If you basically see all big companies, right, the Microsoft, Google of the world, right now are not being run by the founders, but are run by the employees who have the entrepreneurial mindset and now are the CEOs of all these big companies, right? We may need thousands or 2,000 or maybe a lakh entrepreneurs to create employments, but we may need 10 to 20x of those entrepreneurs, people who have entrepreneurial mindset, to ensure that they basically are working with entrepreneurs to create bigger businesses and indirectly creating more employments.
So I just wanted to add, I think where we are coming from is also the entrepreneurial mindset needs to start at schools and colleges. So we've been teaching students with academics which will not lead to make them entrepreneurs. So we also have to focus on a content which delivers and makes them entrepreneurs and makes that machine of entrepreneurship happen. I would like to give you an example. We are training two-wheeler mechanics across India and upskilling them for the EV work of skilling. And what we have found is most of them feel it's very redundant to get upgraded to the EV because it will take time and it will come after a significant point of time. But those mechanics who are entrepreneurial mindset would start that early, get themselves trained, acquainted, and then start the upgradation of entrepreneurship. So what we also need to focus is to have not only in entrepreneurs but entrepreneurs also, which will give that qualification for them responsibility. And you see most of these companies have their P&L responsibility given to managers who manage the P&L of that division. So they are also entrepreneurs in the sense, not that they have to be founders itself. So we have to think this entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship both together and coin it accordingly for our country. So what suited for other countries may not be possible for our nation. We'll have to coin our own Indian innovation and jugaad to create entrepreneurship.
What Ankit said about entrepreneurial mindset, right? Entrepreneur, it's not just a skill, right? It's not just a skill you get it. For example, I'm first generation entrepreneur in my family. I was in academics, right? First one bell, there was a people coming to me saying, yes sir, what do you want coffee, right? Here you need to go and stand at the gate to get an appointment from a principal or a VC, right? You need to change of mindset, right? It took 3 years for me to change that mindset. Hello? Somebody calling me by name. Used to call by sir for 10 years, right? So you need to change that mindset itself, right? I'm giving an example. So on the other side of is that why I became entrepreneur, especially for Bangalore. I'm from Bangalore, right? Bangalore is a place of startup, right? Every road in HSL level you get unicorns, right? In Bangalore, every coffee day discussion happens on, there is a startup discussion happening, investors meeting, huge happening place there. So the ecosystem is built in India today. That is where you can create more entrepreneurs. 20 years before, I think I would have not been an entrepreneur, I feel. But today, because of, I raised a fund at idea stage, I raised funds on revenue stage, now I am raising funds on scaling stage, right? There is a fund. Thank you.
Good point, very, very fair point. And we are undoubtedly seeing that revolution of paying attention to entrepreneurs, obviously, but also entrepreneurs. Very valid point. Now, Prateek, when you were mentioning the point of generative AI and technology, and that's a very fair point, future forward-looking thing. You in your daily operations, you get to engage with students, industry, academia. Would you be able to somehow pinpoint what can be the potential challenges when it comes to weave all of them together?
Okay, so Prateek was not able to be in this meeting, so I'm just, I work with Prateek.
You look really similar to him.
So I look after marketing for the organization. So
we had a Zoom conversation, so I would curse the Zoom screen.
Yeah, sorry. Your question was how do we integrate all the?
Or what are some of the major challenges you would foresee, or let's say you get to face today as well when it comes to weave all of them together, students, industry, academia. What are some of the major challenges you're seeing all across?
So at Masai, we don't look at the background of the student if they want to learn coding, right? The one thing that we only teach tech, and in that you can be from any background. For example, just the last week, boy was delivering food in Swiggy. He's now the software development engineering in Swiggy. So we don't have any of those things. So we are getting interest from the students. What is missing is from the hiring managers. We have this age-old thing about having graduation, especially when it comes to tech. Honestly, if you're a good coder, you're a good coder. You don't need to have any sort of other academic background. You can just be a great coder, and that's what they need to look at. You don't necessarily look at a resume of a techie, right? You look at a GitHub, simple. You will know how
Skilling
good
at the
they are.
focus, huh? So
Absolutely.
the skill.
So where the challenge comes is the mindset that needs to change, and a lot of companies have gone ahead. Like Zoho doesn't look at graduation. Sometimes Google don't, and all those things. And a lot of our candidates who come from in Masai, a lot of people are from tier 2, tier 3 villages. So I mean, you have to look at their actual technical skills. They're great. They learn. Our model is 11-11-6. It's 11 to 11. Okay, 6 days a week, 8 months a year, without a break. That's how we actually teach. It's like one military camp. That's how it is. So if the kids who actually come in and children who learn from us to end up doing more coding than all the years of engineering put together, they are very good at what they know. But if you just like try to see their soft skill, like in English and communication skill, of course they will not rank to a urban kid or somebody else, right? But if the mindset were to change to think that I have a job opening, does this person skill set fit in here? If that is one challenge, and it's slowly changing for sure, but it needs to happen at much faster pace. So the unemployment thing that we are seeing can easily be solved much better, because a lot of engineers who don't get hired is soft skills.
Very interesting point. Anybody has any different take on this, going beyond certification degrees in, let's say, 10 years down the line? What do you have to say to universities or institutions?
I think skill first approach versus the degree. I think nowadays still you see that the basic qualification is highlighted in the employment notice board.
True.
So to change that, I think if somebody highlights and changes saying, okay, if you've done XYZ course at say Masai, we will recruit you. So if that highlight comes in an advertisement, and if media takes that up, I think that is going to happen soon or later, because nowadays a lot of HRs are not truly fascinated with the degrees from where you got, but what skills you have, what certifications you have needs to be highlighted. But I think there lies the challenge: which platform is more recognized, the credibility of that platform, and whether that student has done it through distance or really done like a proper certification. That authentication is also required there. So how do you play with that is going to make that history for us.
Let me throw some numbers, right? In India, there are close to 4 crore students who are pursuing UG and PG programs across disciplines, right? Out of 4 crore, 2 crores are girls who are doing UG, and every year 1 crore students pass out. Out of 1 crore, whether you have 10 lakh, 20 lakhs employable, that's a separate question, because I think employable in itself is a subjective word. It depends what company is sort of defining employable. Right? As he said, some companies may only define employable whether you can communicate and think logically. Okay, plus you should have a degree. The other companies might be that you should just have a degree, and the other companies would be that might be open to work. Now, when I'm talking about these numbers, right, 4 crore, 2 crore, 1 crore, there are about 5,000 companies that go to campus in India and hire from IITs, IIMs and others, right? Still a good amount of number. I think the major gap is that these 5,000 or 10,000 companies are not able to reach to the right talent, which is this 4 crore or maybe a crore that is passing out. One, they don't have the bandwidth, they don't have the resources, they don't have the capabilities to reach out to the right talent, right? On the other side, I think, imagine a female coder sitting in a tier 4 city and doing education in a tier 3 institute. They won't have opportunities to even apply for the biggies of the world like a Walmart, Flipkart, or an Amazon. Right?
I was about to come to this point.
How do we connect those dots? And on top of it, I think the other aspect is, and we have seen industry shifting towards democratization of engagement in IT. When I say that, don't hire from the best institutes, hire the best minds. I think that's where we need to be.
Wonderful.
And most importantly, every company needs to know whether they'll be able to do justice with the aspirations of that particular talent. So why should I hire an premier institute student, when I know that I may not be able to do justice with their expectations in terms of their salary and aspirations in terms of their growth trajectory, right? Can I hire a person from a tier 4 or a tier 3 institute whom I might be able to absorb at maybe X divided by 2 salary, and that person will stick to me for 3 to 4 years, right? So I think the biggest bottleneck is that out of these 5,000 or maybe 10,000 companies in this 4 crore, how do we connect the right lines so that they are able to connect with the right talent, and how they can democratize their hiring. At the root of it, I think skill is anyways, no matter if you are hiring a coder, they have to code, right? But whether you want to hire an IITian who can code, or a non-IITian who can code, or a person who doesn't even have a degree who can code, that basically depends on the company's one, bandwidth to bring them, second, capability to absorb them, and third, can they do justice with the aspirations of it?
Also, the ability to spot the potential all across the nation. Yeah, very very interesting point you put, Ankit. Yeah, please.
Just to quick note, if you know, India has moved on a world skill index, employability skill index, from 39th of 13 to 11th rank, 22. Thanks to government initiatives, you know, 20 years before you would have never heard Uttar Pradesh being the top of VBox skill report, right? Uttar Pradesh has the highest employability rate, students, you know, young minds. So nice, so the great transformation it's happened, right? With such, thanks to all the UGCs and ACTC norms, they are flexible, they're changing norms towards universities. They're making, you know, these ethic partners to join them and help them, getting these companies to help industry to come and partner with them. Of course, you know, there's a two-way. Academics is chasing industry for last maybe 100 years, but it's the industry they have to go back and talk to these academics. Having said this, let me, before I go to that, thanks to all the teachers, I come from teaching domain from last 10 years. It was not easy to transform this. They have really transformed themselves to understand digital skill. They themselves to understand, adapt to these norms, which they have transformed these things. Having said this, university need to open up more. University need to bring in more of a practical. From CIA of 70, 80 to, they'll have to change it. Otherwise, of course, thanks to positive competition within university students, there is a huge fight happening to get graded. But yes, on the side, university has to focus more on how do I make, when I go out, my student goes out of it, what he gets.
True.
Like one thing very interestingly happened today, right? I was listening to everybody, and everybody in academia is looking to how to make things better, how to evaluate, right? How to integrate ChatGPT, AI, technology, formative assessments, and different assessments, right? So it simply, when you hear it, you feel that okay, people are looking on ways to educate people better. But interestingly, what I didn't hear a lot was okay, how do we get them employed, right? Or how do we bring employability towards them? And I think that's where industry has to come towards academia and help with a lot of curriculum, a lot of thought processes, maybe. And the academia then has to come towards the industry and understand what's the skill that we should be teaching kids, or how do we improve on our capabilities in terms of making them employment ready, right? So eventually it's going to be a bridge that both of us have to walk on, the industry and walk towards the academia, and academia walks towards the industry. And that's where you probably get that space where we are teaching the right skills at an education level also, and people are maybe 70% ready for employment when they pass out of an institute, versus today where we would probably not even ready 20-30%, right? So that probably is a way to go, because I mean I was amazed how much we are talking about technology. It's just that we are ignoring employability as a skill when we talk about it, right? So maybe that's what we need to incorporate in our discussions also.
So shout out to
If university takes it very seriously, if they allocate 6 to 8% of their budget towards this, there will be magic in India in the next 8 years. They have to seriously think about it.
very fair and valid point. We are having this discussion just today before budget. Let's see. Now we have discussed what's happening, what are some of the traits all across, but now looking forward, going forward in India, they can be talent sitting anywhere beyond boundaries. The potential of spotting the potential now. Now, Kishore, tell me, how do you look forward? How do you plan to tap that potential? How would you know that somebody in a small village in Jharkhand, maybe a student who is willing to learn coding crazily, how would you catch them, tap them, and get him or her into the right place? How do you plan to do that?
That's a great question, actually. That is part of our scaling process as well. Like, so far, we have trained around 4.5, and next year we'll be doing 10. Our ultimate aim is to go and train at least 1 lakh per year, sort of thing, right? So how do we do this? Masai is a very, very intense program, wherein you can't do anything for 8 months if you join Masai, right? So what we did was we acquired another company called PrepLeaf. Now PrepLeaf is like the content is like Masai but more spread over. It's over weekend, and it's targeted at a lot of college students who are like in their final year, second year, and are not just passed out, who are not able to. Their skills are not enough to get them a job. So through PrepLeaf, we opened up another vertical where a lot of students who can't crack an MSAT like Masai SAT that you need to crack to get into Masai, we also gave them an opportunity to come back and work with us over weekends and the different programs and learn the same data science and software development engineering courses. And what has happened is in the last 6-8 months, universities have come to us because once we started placing people who were not placed in the college, they came to us and said, what did you do that suddenly these guys got placed? And we said, see, education was already given by you, we just skilled them. So a lot of, even in this is the case with a lot of IITs as well, barring the 4 top IITs, of course they'll place. Kanpur, Chennai, Bombay, they'll place. But there are other new IITs that has come in, they'll have the same problem, right? So a lot of IITs and a lot of universities have come to us to start this training right from their second year. So we will do only the practical stuff. Theory and education, the curriculum will be imparted by the college. We will only teach them hardcore coding, hardcore software development, right? And that we will do right from second year, so that by the time they reach the 4th year and 3rd year, they're ready for the job, right? So this automatically brings in the skill that we are looking at. And anyway, Masai has no sales team. We are referral. People who do a course with us, they refer. And it's not for, you have to come and crack an exam. So that's where we started another vertical called PrepLeaf, where it's for everybody to come and like, sort of take it to the last point.
Understood, fair point. Now there is one common thing in all of you, that you are so self-driven, so passionate, and this has been my part of my job because I get to speak to a lot of entrepreneurs. I take care of another vertical of ours, that's the logistic. I get to speak to a lot of entrepreneurs and founders all across the sectors and also investors. So this always makes me so happy to see that how passionate all the entrepreneurs are. You were saying something, Ketan.
Yeah, I was just saying that, what corporates also need to understand is how the Western world German corporate universities are doing. So to correlate that point, the L&D team of the corporate exactly comes out with the syllabus, shares what are the next 3 years hiring that I am going to do. These are the skills, these are the curriculum. Please train them in this particular thing and get it done. Now this kind of arrangement is not happening unfortunately with us. So many universities in our country, we focus on academics. But skilling universities are also equally important, and one experiment I am doing in Pune, where we have built up the university exactly where the L&D is giving me the content, the exact curriculum is given there, and I am training them for 4 years only on that syllabus, so that they get absorbed, and day one they are getting the letter of intent to get the job done. So that is what something innovative we have to do, where industry and academia gaps are fulfilled. Otherwise, we are going to keep on circulating this, that the syllabus is not at par and the employability is not there. That's what I want to stress.
Please. I'm loving this discussion.
What we do related to this, what we do at Seminarroom is that we map expert to curriculum. We bring in 1 hour guest lecture from experts to come and talk to students for every subject, right? That's where you want to inspire students on the importance of academics. After academics, we try to understand the skill gap. Okay, what is the skill gap? From the same experts, we go and assess students on the skill gap, what required for the industry. From that, we will, as Sir said, we will try to design a content in such a way we can train them. That is where we are trying to enhance and apply employability skills today. That's why today I see some changes in the last 2-3 years, and these corporates are moving forward, coming forward in such a way we need to help academics as well. Thank you.
last point on the scaling, I just forgot to mention. We are partnering with NSDC in a very big way, and they are actually helping us take this to the last mile. Partnering with the government is the best way to actually reach the scale. And if working with them closely, it's given us the reach. In fact, a lot of people who come from Tier 2, Tier 3 also ask, like, what is your certification valid? Who are you? Like, sort of a thing, right? So our certification is now along with NSDC. So it carries some amount of accreditation that they look for, right? So NSDC is honestly really helping us to get into the universities and to the grassroots level in this.
I think we've solved for this scale to some extent in terms of both from the students as well as from the employer's perspective. And I'll sort of give you maybe 2 or 3 examples, and then I'll come to when we solve for those examples, then we realized at the road what the problem is. So just to give you an understanding, so Walmart, global e-commerce reached out to us. They wanted to hire 100 female coders, just 100 female coders, right? At that point in time, they were only going to IITs and NITs, but they could hire only 50 female coders, right? Mind you, this is at a package of 25 lakhs per annum, fresher jobs, right? In IITs and NITs, still they were not able to get 100 female coders, right? So then they reached out that can we reach out to every female coder in India? We launched a campaign called Coders, which is currently live as well. And in the first season itself, we got 51,000 female coders to apply for that campaign within a matter of 12 days, pan-India. Right? That's scale. Right? And out of that, 1,000 went on to the last round, 500 were interviewed, and close to 175 were immediately hired. And that was the first time where Walmart India sent an email globally to Walmart US as well that if you want to hire female coders, we have them now, don't come to us 2 months later. Sorry. Right? Now, similar problems we have tried solving for a Flipkart where they got 4.7 lakh coders. Amazon got more than 20,000 MBA grants. Tata Sons got across students about 3 lakh students interested in becoming the task managers, which is Tata Administrative Services, like IPS for private, right? What we realized was that everybody was able to reach out. So the scale I think we solved for, okay? What we were not able to solve for is that in all these examples, in Walmart, 50,000 female coders didn't move ahead. But why? In the first round itself. Out of 4.7 lakh applications in Flipkart over a period of 4 weeks, only 40,000 could move ahead in the next round. And similarly for all the others, right? We work across domains. I mean, these are e-commerce, we work with Reliance, Tatas, Mahindras, HUL and all. I think the basic problem in all the preliminary rounds is that they are checking your aptitude and logical reasoning skills. Very frankly, can you have 2 plus 2 is equal to 4? It's that simple, right? And somehow we believe that in our education system, people are not able to solve those simple problems. And I think in our education system, we all talk about skilling, tech and all, that's probably level 1, but if you deep down, in schools, we are not teaching them basic maths. We are not teaching them basic logical reasoning skills. My daughter, when we were watching Shark Tank, she now questions me that what is loss and what is profit. I mean, these are some basic skills that people need to understand. And once they are done, right, to his point, if you have those basic aptitude and logical skills, whether you do data science today, you'll be able to do Gen AI tomorrow, you'll be able to do maybe Java, C++ day after. It's not a problem. It's like, do you have those basic logical reasoning skills to ensure that you can learn new skills whenever required? And I think at scale, that is becoming a problem in India, and it has to start at primary level, forget about universities or colleges.
Very interesting takeaways. Now, before I ask my final question, before that, I'm interested to know from your founder's lens, or let's say EdTech founder's lens, where is this EdTech sector going forward to? Now, we know that there are thousands of gaps to be fulfilled. There are many ample of opportunities to be tapped. There are huge opportunities, huge possibilities. Now, in your viewpoint, where is EdTech headed to? And I would specifically want to know what are your plans for next 6 to 12 months. Even you can start.
I think with similar to any industry, we started, we disrupted, got a lot of money in. Now, the biggest challenge and the biggest vision that EdTech needs to have is deliver value. While we were talking about scale, I'm a digital marketer for 12 years. So scale is not an issue. If you want to reach 1 billion people in India, you can reach 1 billion people in India on YouTube itself, forget any other platform, right? You have YouTube influencers selling courses, but what we need to solve for now is value. The teachings or the platform, whatever we deliver, does that have value? And value in a nutshell will always boil down to a job at the end of it. So can you give 100% job guarantee at the end of it? That's the value that EdTech needs to deliver on. And any company that delivers value would probably lead the market in the next few years, right? Our plan, like I said, is work towards micro-entrepreneurship for blue-collar segment. Our objective is to focus on vernacular language. I mean, it's a very simple thing that I'm talking in English, but सच ये है कि मुझे English आने की ज़रूरत नहीं है अगर मैं दिल्ली में हूँ, right? मुझे job यहाँ अगर चाहिए और मुझे यहाँ पे 50,000 रुपए महीने को कमाना है, मैं हिंदी में बात करके कमा सकता हूँ, मुझे English आने की ज़रूरत नहीं है।
मैं इस बात से पूरी तरह सहमत हूँ।
Correct, and that goes across the board. If you're in Karnataka, आपको कन्नड़ा आती है, you would be able to earn 50,000 rupees no matter what, right? And so that's our focus. That one, breaking this barrier with, let's say, a lot of blue collar workers also, कि अगर उनको English नहीं आती तो वो confident नहीं हो सकते, right? We work with students in that aspect, wherein first day when I was talking to them, they were telling me, sir, बहुत मुश्किल है हमारे लिए काम करना because हमें English नहीं आती. I was like, तुमसे बोला किसने कि English के बिना तुम काम कर नहीं सकते हो? Like, sir, हर कोई ये बोलता है. I'm like, okay. After 15 days, never taught them a word in English. I was probably a bad teacher because मैं words English के use करता था. So I would be nutshell में ये है, basically ये है, and they would be looking at me like कि कौन से words हैं. But after 15 days, they had a pivot from underconfident to at least confident enough कि वो किसी भी इंसान से जाके बात करने को राजी हैं और हिंदी में बात करेंगे. Right? So that is what our objective is, to use the power of vernacular to scale as well as to build micro entrepreneurs. And like I said, value is what I think all of us combined need to
Kishore. Lovely.
So for us, we will stick to what we are doing in terms of like solving this problem in tech first, because this is big enough problem that even one Masai or one any other organization can't solve. This problem is huge. So we will focus on now scaling from here and trying to take the accessibility, the democratization of a tech job to everywhere in the country, and that's our next jump going to be. So we will now scale to 10,000. The aim is to reach out to 10,000 and train and place 10,000. And that is a challenge because it's a lot of external factor as well, right? You know, market factors, everything. But still, we are going to go aggressive on this, and we are going to go and train at least train and place like 10,000 people by 2025, short term. And long term, of course, like I said, we're going to go for 1 lakh.
I mean, we are a edu HR tech. If you say generally I do not want me to be tagged as edtech for obvious reasons. But I think where we are heading is that, see, I don't want to replace universities or colleges. That's not me. And I don't think any edtech player can do that at scale. Okay. What we need is maybe a finishing school. Okay, so let me explain you with the example of cricket, right? So in cricket, if you are a team player, either a bowler or a batsman or maybe a all-rounder, I'm not saying that I will teach you how to bat. I will teach you how to bat better and how to excel in it so that you're selected in any of the IPL teams, right? Otherwise, gali mein to har koi khela hua hai, right? So I think that's where we are aiming at, and we want to ensure that, coming to this example, If we can have all the selectors on the house, if we have all the players in the house, how do we connect the right IPL team to the right talent so that they bid each other and they form a team which excels? I think that's where we want to be, and that's why we are saying that at scale we need to connect these 4 lakh students, 4 crore students with all those 10,000 plus companies that are looking at good talent across domains and disciplines.
So thank you. I also would not call myself as a tech but more of a social entrepreneur, creating that challenges for the disadvantaged girls and youth. And what I have seen is back there, a lot of companies and corporates under their gender and diversity want to hire the right talent, but we're not able to give them those numbers which they are looking at. And our focus has been to skill them. We partnered with NSDC, partnered with large companies to provide those skilling opportunities to youth. At the same time, I'm building the skills university on the model of German cooperative university, where day one we have the companies integrate their syllabus and identify those talented youth whom we can place in future. So my focus is to do around 15,000 youth in next 3 years, and we want to make sure that at least 85 to 90% of them are placed with good qualifying jobs, and most of them should be first generation learners. That's one more point which I want to focus on. So that's from my side. Thank you.
By 2030, the data says that 90 million jobs has to be created. Not there, just I mentioned 1 second back. 90 million jobs has to be created in non-agricultural sector. To create this, to make these young minds employable, skilled, that is where our passion there to bring in industry experts, at least 5,000 to 10,000. These CXOs experts who are passionate there, who can't come and teach, right? But they want to come and teach. That's why we want to enable this and come and train students and uplift them. That's the one side. Right? Second, for sure, EdTech startup assets, not everybody EdTech here. One is NGO. You can see at least one are a unicorn. I want all 4 to be unicorn here, right? Competing each other, but this competition will help the young minds. So it's good for this country. That is what is going to happen. EdTech is clean. EdTech is now platform is set for this country. The next 20 years, I think we will set a benchmark to the world about what makes the better education, I feel. Thanks a lot.
So, very informative points coming from non-EdTech entrepreneurs. But before we actually close, any comments, any advice you would want to give maybe to students, maybe to younger entrepreneurs who are coming into this segment? Largely, where is this headed to? Anything to say before we actually close? Ankit?
I mean, I think for me there are only 3 stakeholders in the whole education market. One is students, second colleges, and the third are employers. Till the time these 3 don't join hands or come on a common platform like an Unstop or others, I don't think we can solve this problem at scale.
So, compassion and collaboration.
Right, and I think government also plays a role. Unfortunately, he spoke about NSDC and we also have MOUs signed, but we haven't seen those benefits or intent coming out of those signed MOUs and we would agree. So this government has the scale. Sometimes they also have the intention. I think somewhere something is missing which is not hitting on dot. I think that is something that we are trying to find because we are at that inflection point. Once government lays their hands on us, we should be able to reach from maybe 8 million to 80 million within a year.
I'm hopeful that we get to see much brighter outcomes.
I would like to end with the shloka which made me entrepreneur, right? Amantram aksharam nasti moola manoshadam ayogyo purusho nasti yojakasattva durlabha. Every aksharas can be mantras. Every leaves can be medicines. Every person is so useful. What we lack is enablers. What we lack is entrepreneurs. What we lack leaders. We are enablers here. Thank you.
It has been a lovely and very informative, valuable session. Thank you so much to all of you to make this happen. Thank you so much. Back to you, Chaabi.